Is this an issue hitting home? Do you have a parent or loved one with memory care issues who you feel is not safe at home anymore? Are isolation, falls, and safety issues becoming a big concern? Welcome to Dogwood Senior Home, premier boutique residential senior living specializing in memory care. It's country living at its best in the Huntington section of Shelton, Connecticut. We're truly a home with only 6 senior residents living as one family unit. Senior residential homes are concepts sweeping the nation with 47,000 across the U.S. We're pleased to open Dogwood Senior Home as it will be only number 6 for Connecticut. Brand new, sparkling clean, opening mid-June. And safe, safe, safe. We are COVID-free. Residential care homes boast a very low COVID infection rate across the nation. This is due to the intimacy of size and speed in which the caretakers can shift to accommodate immediate needs. They are much safer than the large homes and facilities, as you can imagine. It has been documented that residents have less falls and a better quality of life in a residential home environment. Our home is more affordable than the big box facility. You pay one all-inclusive price, and that price is guaranteed for the life of the resident. With an incredible 1-to-3 caregiver ratio, which you won't find anywhere else. Our friendly, loving caregivers are dedicated and trained in Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's issues. We're only taking 6 residents, so the home will fill up fast. Call me at 203-689-7562 for a talk and tour. I would love to meet you and your loved one. See you soon. Bye.
Hi, Deirdre Virvo here. Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Seniors, memory care issues, dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. I am so happy to have a very special guest here today, John Noonan. And before we start, I just want to let you know that you can view these Just Like Home videos on our YouTube channel. And I also produced a lot of other things. So check out the YouTube channel to see some hints and tips on working with, if you should work with a real estate investor, different types of homes to go into, what you should do with your parents as it's time for them to move into somewhere, and all sorts of different hints and tips for housing and your seniors. So without further ado, I want to introduce John Noonan. And I met him last week at my ribbon cutting ceremony at Just Like Home, House in Dogwood House. And he's a telecommunications specialist, and he does a really cool thing. He does something called clear captions. He's a Title IV specialist, American Disability Act specialist, and he'll tell us a little bit more about that. He has the ability to demonstrate voice and data technology solutions for seniors and people that have hearing issues. So we're going to talk a little bit about hearing issues and what that means to our senior and how that can be very isolating, and what you could do for them to feel less isolated and alone. He loves to train on technology. He's a professional communicator, an on-air news person, documentary and commercial experience in radio, television, and film. And when you see him, he totally looks like a newscaster. He's also an entertainer, a musician, and is currently the lead singer for Frank Porto Band. I just love that. So I know he's told me he can sing the classics and a little rock and roll too. So without much further ado, let's introduce John Noonan. Thanks so much for joining us, John. How are you?
Very good, Deirdre. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. And I'm so happy to have met you last week and so happy to have you here. And I know that you're pretty dedicated to seniors and their wellness and well-being. Why don't we talk a little bit about hearing loss and how it affects seniors? What do you see?
Absolutely. Well, first, let me begin by saying telling you how I got involved with Clear Captions and
Sure.
what it means to me. So as you mentioned in the intro, I am a singer with the band, Frank Porto Band. And so sound is very important to me and hearing is very important. But a couple of years ago now, I woke up with a very sore throat and went to the doctor. And what happened is I had a virus
Mm.
and it damaged my auditory nerve. So I lost a lot of hearing in my left ear,
Wow.
and I was devastated. So I understand what hearing loss can do for somebody, or how it can affect someone. Luckily, I got a hearing aid, and it restored about 95% of my hearing.
Hmm.
So I like to tell that story because it points out the fact that technology can help us with some of these health challenges that we have. And that's what Clear Captions does. So with Clear Captions, yeah, with Clear Captions, we provide caption telephones for people with hearing loss through the Americans with Disabilities Act. And so there's no cost to the recipient. And the way it works is, if you're familiar with watching television and having captions at the bottom
Hmm.
as the people are speaking, that's how the phone works in real time, pretty near real time. As the other person is speaking, you see what they're saying. So you speak on the phone as you normally would speak, you listen as you normally would listen. But if you miss some words, you can look down and see what they had said. So
That's
it's a very
brilliant.
regard. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And there's no cost to the senior.
No, it's part, as I said, of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So the funny thing is, if you've looked at your telephone bill, if you still have a telephone bill, and you looked at the bottom and it said universal services fee, well, about 80 cents, $1.50. That fee is how the program is funded. So actually, people have been paying for this phone for a while. And because it's part of the Americans with Disabilities Act, it's actually a civil right. So people are entitled to this if they have hearing loss. Okay. So one of the things, though, a lot of people don't like to admit that they have hearing loss, and so what happens is it starts to progress,
Mm.
and there are, maybe difficulty in a noisy restaurant. They might not be able to hear as well as they used to, or you can tell sometimes when people continue to say what, or could you speak a little bit louder, or they may be able to hear but not understand what's being said. So the, the truth is that most people over the age of 50 have some type of hearing loss.
Really?
Yeah, and again, they don't like to admit it. Now, well, I have some statistics here. 1 in 5 adults has some form of hearing loss, and you deal with some of these issues. If untreated, it can lead to depression, anxiety, some isolation. People will stop speaking on the phone with their family and friends, and especially in the world of COVID, we don't want that to happen. We want to keep people connected. Um, and that can also lead to what you're familiar with, cognitive decline. And the problem with that is, once that is initiated, it's very hard, if you ever do, get back those cognitive abilities, right? And it can lead to early dementia,
Wow.
which you're very familiar with.
So this
So
this really snowballs, is what you're saying. So
absolutely.
if you can't hear and you go into some sort of depression and you're not using that part of your brain and you're not able to communicate with people and you become more isolated, then now it's showing up like dementia is coming on, and it gets even harder and more isolating, and you're feeling lonelier. And this is a huge thing that seniors are going through right now, not just with COVID, but it's a huge thing always for seniors to feel part of things. A lot of times people speak too quickly around seniors or not loud enough, so they just sit back and are not part of the conversation, and that's a real shame. So phone calls, big thing. I know, like, we stopped calling my mother-in-law before she passed because she couldn't get on the phone. She couldn't hear. She wasn't communicating. But how
That's
else are you talking
unfortunate.
to somebody when you can't see them? So it's really tough. So are these the phones? Are they special phones?
Yes, the phones are special, and the way it works is, uh, well, you need three things to qualify for the phone. Number one is hearing loss. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is a regular telephone number, because we
Okay.
need a number to call the phone. And number three is internet access. because internet is what carries the words to you on the screen.
All right.
Okay. So I think here's a picture of the phone, and let's see if I can hold it up for you. Okay, that's what the phone looks like. And I come to the house, I install the phone, I show them how to use it. It's very user friendly. If you can use a regular phone, you can use this phone.
And are the
I had
letters big, John? Are they
we,
like?
we can increase the size of the font, absolutely, and it's amplified, so it can be a little bit louder. We also have a mobile app, and the same application is available on an iPhone right now, and also the iPad. And let's see if you can see this. If I can get it close
Yeah.
enough there. There you go.
Yep. So if they're on their own iPhone, yeah.
So that's in real time. And the way it works is there are captioning centers all around the world. So the service is available 365, 24/7. And when someone calls you, it goes into the captioning center through a software there. There may be an intermittent a person in the middle there sometimes. And eventually it'll be all just software. And it's about 95% accurate. And, again, it's in real time. So if you miss a word, you can look down. The nice thing about it also is you can save the conversations if you want. So if you're speaking to a doctor and the doctor gives you specific instructions, or when did you make your appointment, you could save that and refer back to it. I mean, there are other, yeah.
Is there like just a button that is like save?
Yeah. Well, it'll save it automatically. So you have the ability to save it or delete it if you want. Okay. And the other thing is speed dial. So if they do have maybe a little bit of memory loss, they could push the name, or they go look at favorites. They don't have to remember the telephone number. They could just hit that button. I program those things for them. Okay. So yeah, it's handy that way as well. The hearing's important because it's the way we communicate with the world. And as you mentioned before, when that starts to slip, you might pull back from, your family and friends. And we want to avoid that. So there's usually some kind of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's funny because just yesterday I was talking to a woman who was asking me about her sister who had recent encephalitis, which is like a brain swelling, and now she has dementia. And this is just in the past few weeks. She was pretty fine, up till recently, and she's only maybe 78. And she is in a nursing home at the moment, and it's quite an expense. And she doesn't really have to be in a nursing home, but that's where they put her. So she's looking for a new place to put her. And she asked me this specific question. She said, how would I communicate with my sister in your home, in Dogwood Home? Because right now I have to call the nursing station because my sister can't call out and she can't hear well. And they have to bring her the phone. They have to find her. And I have to hope that a nurse on duty, has time to go. And I said, we are going to have a special phone just for your sister so she can see, since she can't hear well anymore, or communicate, and we would be with her besides, FaceTime, and we have an iPad for FaceTime if she wanted to see her. Does this also have a FaceTime, a face thing as well?
At this point in time, it's not a FaceTime. However, because it's a good point you make, because of a lot of the telecommunications now, in terms of telehealth, where they are doing some kind of face video, they still may have trouble hearing. And so this can also accompany the phone call. And so you can see the words. So you can have the video and you can also have the words. Okay.
So where would you have the video? On another phone?
Yeah. Or on your iPad or your phone. Right.
And then how would it hook up to this phone? So if I was talking to somebody on my iPad, telehealth, a doctor, how would it be coming on?
Yeah. In my experience, when we do telehealth, I just did one yesterday. I dial in, right, on the phone, because I like the audio that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I use the video portion of the iPad or the iPhone. So that's the way I do it. Same thing if people have been doing a lot of Zoom meetings lately. You
Sure.
always have the ability to look at the video, and you can use your computer audio. However, I prefer using the telephone audio. So that's how it works.
Got it. So you would just use both. So like in our
Yeah.
home, we would have somebody on the iPhone and as well have this phone with the clear captions so they can
Yeah.
record everything said, which is so important, especially oftentimes seniors with memory loss or just seniors, also have, memory loss, not just hearing loss. So it's hard to remember what the doctor said, and you totally need an advocate all the time when you're talking to a doctor to listen in on what you're saying. And if you're by yourself, it's kind of hard to remember what to do or carry on. So I love it. I love the idea that it's savable. Can you print it out? Is there a way to print?
Right now, no, there's not a way to print it out. But there are some other innovations coming out. For right now, it's in English only, but in the next quarter, we believe we'll have the software so that it'll be able to use or interpret Spanish for you as well.
Fabulous. That's great.
And in the very near future, you won't even need your own phone number. You will just need internet access, so we could provide the phone number for you. There's a lot of things that cause hearing loss. I mean, it could be age related. In my case, it was a virus out of nowhere. It could be loud music from some bands and things of that nature.
So you're one of our culprits. Is that what you're saying, John?
Well, we're not that loud, so.
Well, let me ask you, is it ever reversible, hearing loss? Like if it's from a virus or loud music, is it reversible?
Well, it's funny you should ask that question because in my case, I've had a great recovery, but it took about 2 years. I don't know why it took 2 years, but eventually when I went back to my hearing specialist, my hearing doctor, and he did another hearing test, he said, you've come back about 95%. So, through the grace of God, I guess.
Do you know anything about tinnitus? Is that recoverable? Can you recover from tinnitus?
Tinnitus, I'm not an expert with tinnitus, but I know there's a drug or medication called flavonoid that might be helpful. That's what my doctor had given me so that I wouldn't have ringing in the ears. Because when you lose your hearing, you might have that ringing in your ears.
Sure.
In my case, it was like a void. I couldn't hear certain frequencies.
So, John, it's an interesting point you bring up. Before you think you have dementia or hearing loss for any reason, you really should check with your doctor because often it could be a virus or it could not. It's not just like, you're getting older, right? So it could be brought on by something else. And this is true as well for things that look like dementia. Dementia could show up from a virus or other things. So you don't automatically jump to all of a sudden, you were fine one day and the next day you have dementia. Like you need to check that out medically first. Same with hearing, obviously. It could be a virus or something that could be like in your case, reversible. It's not just an automatic, you're just older. So you do have to check things out medically. And I've learned that with dementia and Alzheimer's as well, that it
Absolutely.
shows up. My dad,
Absolutely.
And when you're older, like my dad, who's in his 80s, whenever he got a UTI, urinary tract infection, he started hallucinating and became delusional. And that's common when you're older, but that is not common when you're younger. So, if you don't know these things, it's so worrisome, especially if it continues. But really, you need to treat the medical symptom, and then he was fine. So oftentimes dementia or hearing loss will show up from something medical and not just, brush it off to, we're getting older. So that's a great point. First, always get checked out medically because it could be something up. It's not just an automatic, like, comes of age,
Yeah, my wife just, her 93-year-old aunt just had a urinary tract infection. And she did have, as you said, visions and things. He wasn't acting normal. So absolutely, you got to see a doctor. I mean, that's why they're there, professionals.
Yes, but you know how many seniors that I work with, and I'm sure you do too, that never go to the doctor? That never
Well,
go to the doctor. My
yeah.
great aunt hadn't gone to the doctor in 25 years. When
Oh
she was
my God.
90, my mother insisted she go to the doctor because she had an issue. Turned out she had breast cancer, then she blamed it on my mother because she went to the doctor.
Oh no.
She's like, I would never have had breast cancer if you didn't take me to the doctor. And my mother's like, really?
Yeah.
But you know what you don't know, you don't know. So she just didn't like doctors. So oftentimes, you know, you have to convince, you know, your senior parent that you have to check things out medically, and hearing is one of them. And hearing loss can really lead to isolation.
And you know, it's a good point. It's not only for seniors. Now, I've installed a caption telephone for a 7-year-old girl.
Really?
She had a cochlear implant,
Uh-huh.
and she loved the mobile version. As we were talking before, when they have those mobile phones, you can't get them off the phone. But she loved the mobile version. And the oldest person that I installed one for was 101. So there you go. That's the gamut.
Wow. So you do children as well. You do just
Yeah,
everybody with hearing loss.
there is no age requirement to take advantage of the program.
So how do people find out about you?
Well, we speak to people like yourself. We're trying to get the word out. As I said, prior to today's world, we did presentations at assisted living,
Mhm.
senior centers, health fairs, just to get the word out. Because, I mean, the program, Clear Captions, has been around since 2011. And, you know, you might see a commercial on TV from time to time, but we're trying to get the word out that the more people that can take advantage of this program, the better it is.
So if you go to your doctor and you know your hearing doctor and you're a senior, will they kind of automatically recommend you or tell you about these services, or is this something you kind of have to ask?
Well, most of it would come from referrals. You know, we speak with hearing care professionals now as well. And
Hmm.
uh, I'll still be speaking to assisted living and senior centers and health fairs and things of that nature. But most of it comes from people. Once they have this, they're like, wow, why didn't I have this before? And they'll tell their friends, or they have, and the other, you know, other family or friends. But the thing is, since it's a federal government program, it's nationwide. So you can be anywhere in the United States and take advantage of this program, the Title IV program.
I
So if
love
you
it.
have any family or friends, let me know.
I
Yeah.
actually have a girlfriend my age with quite a bit of hearing loss, and I am going to tell her about it. And I'm actually going to also definitely have you come into my home, um, because I'm going to have seniors there. I know with hearing loss, that's one of the questions I get asked all the time. What do we do for them? So now I have another thing we could help them with. So that's
Excellent.
amazing. But so is it something they call the American Disability Act? They call you? Do you need a note from the doctor that says that they have hearing loss? How does it work?
All right, it works. They can call me, and I can, if it's anywhere in the country, I can help them get in touch with the local representative. So it's best to speak with me, because then I can just make sure I follow up. And so mostly people can self-certify. In other words, if they say they have hearing loss, we can take their word for it because they're swearing to it. And then most people will see their doctor. Okay, he can be a general practitioner. And I think most doctors know if one of their patients has hearing loss.
Hmm.
And then, since we do work with a lot of hearing care professionals, we have people in the area we can recommend to go see. There are a lot of free hearing tests out there. You probably have seen them in some of the publications for seniors, right? So there's no reason why not to get your hearing checked. I mean,
So how does it work on the cell phone?
it works on the cell phone, as I showed you before. It's an app on the cell phone, and let's see if I can just show you the
Taking
app.
notes. So you could use any cell phone. You could have.
Well, for right now, it's only the iPhone. and it's only the iPad. In the very near future, we'll be also able to utilize the Samsung phones as well.
Okay.
All right. So let's see here. And it looks like this. Looks like a regular, that's the app.
Okay.
Okay. And it has the same features as the home phone. You could keep the conversations. And there's the app down there. Let's see if you can see it. Clear captions, CC.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a great service, and it's free. Doesn't get better than that.
What is better than that?
Free. Nothing
That's
is better
why.
than free and a great service, except a free
Yeah.
meal. Free meal,
Yeah.
if that came with it. If you cooked along with giving the free phone,
Well,
that
you
would
don't
be,
want like
or sang a few songs and did a little, how'd
that.
you
I
band
could do.
come? Yeah,
That I
if you like, do you sing when you're installing it for people? Is that?
if they asked me to, I guess I would. Yeah.
I think that should be part of your program. I think that's part of your sale, John. That's like,
There you go. Well, I do enjoy music, and again, when I had that hearing loss, boy, that was devastating. I can empathize with anyone that has any kind of hearing loss, because I was like, oh my God, I'll never be able to hear my music.
oh, I know, it's terrible. And so, what is your favorite thing to sing? What is your?
Oh, of course, love songs, of course.
Aww. And have you ever written any yourself?
I have, and I've
Oh,
also, recorded some things, and
cool. That's awesome.
so yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and but you know what the best part is? It's connecting with people in a live performance. There's just something about a live performance, as you've mentioned. You like live music as well. There's an exchange of energy that you can't find anywhere else, and that's what I really appreciate. I mean, if I go into some of these assisted living places and we do some music and do some performances there, people that may have dementia or they haven't heard music in a while, they perk right up. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and they remember the words.
So great.
So it is. It's very fulfilling to see that reaction. I really appreciate that. That's the best part.
And the funny part is, you're the youngster in the group, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
In this
one of your
particular group, yes,
one of your guys is 90.
he is, and he still plays the saxophone. As I mentioned, he writes the arrangements,
I
and he
love it.
books the band, and he carries some of the equipment. So
Wow, that's keeping him young. That is keeping him young because he's doing what he
actually,
loves.
that is true. The music is keeping him young, and I think music keeps a lot of people young.
Do you
Keeps the
know?
brain active.
Yeah, my happy place is music, as many people's. But in the morning to get my day started, I listen to like America's Got Talent, Best Kids Ever, all the time. Britain's Got Talent, teens. I will cry. There are like 9-year-olds on singing opera. There are like 7-year-olds on singing rock and roll. I'm just like blown away by talent, singing talent, especially children. Like it just moves me. I've always wanted to sing. So I've always wanted to sing well. I sing all the time. So I was wow.
Oh, that's funny.
And more so the people around me wish I could sing well. So I love that you sing. I love that you're still singing. And I love that, you're spreading the love that way, because people feel the love when you sing and do something from your heart. And
Absolutely.
I could tell you also do this from your heart because you love seniors and want to help people. So
That is absolutely true. That is real, it's just very fulfilling to be able to do that and help somebody out. And when they get to utilize that technology and they realize what kind of independence and connectivity back to their family friends it gives them, it's just amazing. It really is. And I appreciate the opportunity to, get the word out. And again, as I said, this is a civil right. So people should not hesitate to use this program, because they've been paying for it, and it's something that the government is providing.
I am actually going to get the word out. I know a few people that could use the service right now, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to send them this video because on YouTube, but also tell them about you. So John Noonan, Clear Captions, 203-581-0382. Clear Captions 203-581-0382. Do you want to sing us off? Do you have a little verse you want to sing for us as we leave the air?
Well, let's see. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I did it my way.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic.
Thank
you,
you, Deirdre.
John. I look forward to seeing you in person, and I'll be sending people your way. Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much
much.
for helping us. Good night now. Until tomorrow.
Bye-bye.